I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, we're talking about a lot of light in today's show, because if you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is An Uncertain Future. And that is because in the month of August, we are having 2 full moons during the month, and one of them is today. So on August 1st, today, we are having a full moon at 9 degrees of Aquarius. And then 2 weeks later, we're having a new moon in Leo. And then 2 weeks after that, on August 31st, we're having another full moon, and that will be in Pisces. So for today, the reason why the show is titled An Uncertain Future is because, first of all, Aquarius rules the future, and that's where the full moon is today. But it's at the 9th degree, and the number 9 is the highest of all the single digits, and it generally denotes finishing something. But the reason why it can be an uncertain future is because this little full moon is having a lot of trouble today. And one of the big reasons for that is because it's completely unsupported. There are no other planets in the air signs, so there's nothing trining this full moon. And on top of that, it's running into a few challenges. And that is because there are 5 planets still in the fixed signs squaring and opposing each other. So that can present a lot of uncertainty or challenges to your future. Because Aquarius rules things that are ahead of their time. It rules invention and music and anything that goes through the air. So it rules electricity, it rules the telecommunications fields, it rules computers and the internet, and it rules flight, aviation, space, satellites. It rules things ahead of their time, and it also is the sign of the humanitarian. And so this full moon in Aquarius is running up against something that is uncertain, but the uncertainty about it is when it's going to be finished, or it could involve something that was supposed to have been finished before. And that is because that full moon in Aquarius is being opposed, exactly as all full moons are, by the sun. So the full moon is at 9 degrees of Aquarius. The sun is at 9 degrees of Leo. And Venus is also in Leo, later on in the sign at 27 degrees. And that's a number that reduces to 9 as well. And that Venus is retrograde. So these 2 planets are coming up against the full moon. And there's another 2 planets that are doing that too. Because Jupiter and Uranus, which is Aquarius' own ruler, are in Taurus, and they are squaring the full moon as well. And remember, this full moon has no support because there's nothing in the air signs to support it. So it is somewhat being trapped by these a total of 5 planets, and that includes the full moon, in fixed signs that are all harshly challenging each other. And that is why if something or someone is feeling trapped in one way or another, then they can be thinking that their future is a little bit uncertain right now, and they would be right about that. Another thing that is happening is that the planets that are involved in this harsh T-square are having trouble on their own. And that is because, for instance, Venus, which is in Leo, is squaring the sign it rules, Taurus. And in fact, when you look a little bit more closely, Venus at 27 degrees of Leo is closely squaring Uranus, that planet of sudden surprising change, which rules Aquarius, at 23 degrees in Taurus. So that's a pretty harsh square right there. And that simply means that Uranus rules sudden surprising change, and it's a fast-moving planet. And I mean, it doesn't move fast in its orbit, but it denotes things that happen in a surprising way. And so it can be that money that's even coming into you could be going out just as quickly right now for one reason or another. So, money could change hands pretty fast right now. And so that can be a problem as well and make your future a little bit uncertain. And so this is simply a time when some people can feel, well, the money isn't there, or it isn't staying around long enough for one reason or another. So that can add a lot of uncertainty to your future plans or to other people's future plans. And remember, Taurus is a sign that rules investments. And so, as I said, the money that's coming in could be going out pretty quickly right now, or else there wouldn't be enough of it. In other words, somebody who's expecting a big payout, maybe that isn't going to happen right now. And so they may have to change their financial future plans and maybe take a few steps back. And that could be the result right now of uncertain future plans. And then there's something else going on that we all really have to be aware of. And it is that there are 4 planets that are all harshly opposing each other. An opposition occurs when 2 planets are as far apart as they can get. They could be up to 180 degrees apart. And so that's what we're looking at now. And it's among the mutable signs, because Mercury has moved out of Leo and now Mercury is in Virgo. Well, it rules Virgo. It's very strong there. And remember, Virgo not only rules our central nervous system, but it rules also, it's a mental sign, so it rules our mental health as well as the whole healthcare field. And so Mercury is there, and it rules analytical thinking, facts, details, and good problem solving as well. But Mars is also in the sign. And Mars is a malefic planet that can get you in trouble. You can overdo things. You can argue. You can be too particular about the small points and miss the big picture. All of that could be happening. But right now there's bigger trouble than that. And it is because Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, and Mars are opposing Saturn and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. So we have 2 strong planets, Mercury and Neptune, both ruling their own signs. And then we have 2 malefic planets that are in those signs as well, Mars and Saturn, and all 4 of them are opposing each other. And so that means that right now there's no winners, no definite winners. And that could be due to a lot of arguments, but I think it's due to the fact that that some results that you may be, or conclusions that you may be drawing, are inconclusive. And that is because the 2 planets in Virgo are really working against the 2 planets in Pisces, which are also working against the 2 planets in Virgo. In other words, there can be a lot of people that are citing facts and details and feeling they're really right about that. And then there's other people that say, oh, well, I can overlook those things, or maybe I don't want to be factual right now. And so the planets in Pisces can be somewhat evasive, or they can just be doubtful. Whereas the planets in Virgo are really stressing their point, whether it's a big point or a very small one. And so there's no winners. And so I would urge everyone not to get in an argument this week, because there won't be any winners. And results will be inconclusive at this time. And that's why the show is called An Uncertain Future. See, there's a lot of different reasons why there could be uncertainty around right now. So anyway, the uncertainty could be about something like a legacy or reparations, because the sign of Taurus is involved. Remember, Uranus, which is the ruler of the full moon in Aquarius, is in Taurus, and along with Jupiter there, those 2 planets are squaring the 2 planets in Leo, and they're squaring the full moon. And yet, despite the fact that there can be a lot of people who just want to get on with their lives and do their work and see some results for that so that they can plan for their retirement, in spite of that, because there is still a grand trine in the earth signs. And so that same Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus are being trined by that Mars in Virgo, And they're also being trined by Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto is retrograde. So another reason why there can be uncertainty right now in our future is because there are 4 retrograde planets. And by the end of this month, when we come up to the second full moon on August 31st, there will be 6 retrograde planets. And when planets are going backwards, generally that's a sign that we have to do the same thing. And maybe clear up loose ends and conclude things. And so in spite of all of these things, there is, when you look more closely at the planets and where they are today, there is only one planet that has no harsh aspects to it. And so it can go forward, or it can be in the driver's seat right now, because there's only one planet that is not receiving any challenge from anybody. And the reason why is because it's Pluto in Capricorn, and Capricorn is a cardinal sign. And there are no planets in the other cardinal signs. There's nothing in Aries, or in Cancer, or in Libra. So there's nothing squaring or opposing Pluto in Capricorn. And so it isn't getting harsh aspects from anybody, but it is retrograde at the critical 29th degree of Capricorn. And the reason why a big reason why there can be an uncertain future is because Pluto rules people sort of at the top. They can be the owners of corporations, or they can be people in upper management in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions, or they can be even heads of state, heads of governments. And that Pluto is retrograde, meaning that the power of the old guard, because Capricorn rules time, and Capricorn itself rules your 10th house of career and your public reputation and your retirement. And some change at the top should have happened before. And since that planet is at the 29th degree and has no harsh aspects to it at all, and in fact it has a lot of support, the 2 planets in Taurus and the 2 planets in Virgo are all trining it. And so I think that the power of the old guard is ending. And what it means is that someone, or a group of people sort of at the top, have stayed too long at the fair, and party time is over. And so when that happens, when they leave, either by force or by voluntary means, which should have happened before, there can still be an uncertain future, because people may not be too sure how things will sort of play out after the old guard leaves. But they are definitely going to leave. And it's because they've stayed too long in their role. And this has been harmful, either to the organization they belong to or to their own public reputation. And it's time for them to move on. Really time. And so I think that's going to happen, that their party time is over. And so their future is uncertain. But so can other people's be for various reasons now as well. So, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries. This is a time, Aries, when I still think you can sort of be getting your second wind and thinking of maybe teaming up with other people, or even a lucky friend. And it could be a new friend, since the North Node is in your sign. And you can be hoping to make some sort of new start that could end up being grand and glorious. And the reason why is because the Sun is in Leo, which it rules, so it's very strong there. And along with Venus, which is retrograde in Leo, they both trine your Sun, Aries. And so somebody can be coming along with a lot of big ideas and, really confident that everything's going to work. And they may want to enlist your help, Aries. Well, your sign rules new beginnings. You'd be game for that, Aries. You'd be anxious to start a new beginning. And I think that's a good idea, because You could have all, in the next year and a half, while the North Node is in your sign, you could have all kinds of opportunities to join up with new people. And they would generally tend to be of great benefit to you, Aries. So even if you don't know how something is going to end, and Aries doesn't rule endings, so you don't have to worry about that, Aries. You could be just very excited about some potential new start that is sort of in the making, or somebody can be suggesting that to you, or you could be making that suggestion to somebody else, and I would say this is a good time to follow through with that. You should do that. You don't have anything to lose by making a new beginning, and I don't think someone else does either. So you could sort of team up with the right people right now, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, there is a wonderful grand trine that's still holding in the earth signs, and that is because Jupiter, which is due to stay in your sign for about a year, maybe a little less than a year now, but it generally stays in each sign for a year. And Uranus is going to stay in your sign for the next 2 years. It won't leave until 2025. And so those are very dynamic planets in your sign, Taurus, and they're being trined by 2 planets in Virgo now, Mercury, which is the ruler of Virgo, and by Mars in Virgo, and by Pluto in Capricorn. So Taurus, yours is a fixed sign. It is involved in this sort of squeeze play or pressure play by 5 planets that are in the fixed signs today, particularly the full moon in Aquarius, which is squaring your sun, Taurus, and the sun and Venus. Your own ruler in Leo are also squaring your sun. So it's not like all of your problems are solved. And you can be facing some challenges, and you can be looking at an uncertain future in one way or another. But I don't think this is going to have an effect on your basic character, Taurus, because the grand trine is holding. And so I think that, in a way, wherever you are, say in your employment, you may have a boss who's part of the old guard or in a powerful position, and it's possible they are leaving. Or it can be that there are so many changes right now, or companies that merge or even go out of business, that that can affect some sort of challenge to you. But at the same time, I don't think that it's affecting your basic character, because, you know, if something happened in your career, Taurus, you would turn right around and get to work on something else. That's the way you are. You know, you like making money, or you like having the money come in. Your sign is a financial sign, and it rules investments. And so, in one way or another, some investment could help you get out of a challenging situation, or help stabilize an uncertain future for you right now. But I would say, you don't cut the money till it's in your hand, Taurus, because there are challenges still to your sign. And one of them, since your sign rules investments, could be that the value of investments are fluctuating. And maybe not due to the actual intrinsic value of the investment, but it could be that, for instance, there could be court challenges to the corporation that you work for. Or there could be a possible change in a government agency or institution that you are associated with. And that would be something that would be beyond your control, but you would still be affected by it. So it doesn't mean that you're going to go broke under any circumstances, Taurus, because if anything happened to your job, you would just go out and find another one. You know, good hard workers are always appreciated. And so I'm not worried about that for you, Taurus, but you are facing some sort of an uncertain future somewhere. And it could be quite challenging to you because it's your own ruler that's squaring your sun. So you have to be careful about things. Don't spend too much money now. Remember, money can go out as quickly as it comes in. But I would suggest that you have it come in and hang on to it. You may need it in the future. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time, Gemini, when there is at least one planet in an air sign now, because there hasn't been for the last few weeks. But now that full moon in Aquarius is trining your sun, Gemini, which is fine, because a trine is a good aspect, because a trine means that the planet in one sign is able to send all of their energy into the other signs of which are in the same element. So that full moon in Aquarius is trining your sun, Gemini, and the Libra sun, because they're both air signs. So that means that there may be some future opportunity that can be opening up for you, Gemini. And it might be suddenly, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus rules sudden change. The planet Uranus is close to your sun sign now. It's still going to take 2 more years before it gets into your sun sign because it's such a slow mover. But it's at 23 degrees of Taurus now. It's only 7 degrees away from your sign. And by 2025, it'll be there. And boy, is it going to... It's going to surprise the world when it gets into your sign, Gemini, because it'll be finally trining the sign it rules, Aquarius, and Pluto will be there. So, Gemini, if you were thinking that you were going to spend the rest of your days sipping mint juleps on the veranda, or just taking trips and enjoying yourself, or laying on the beach, I don't think so, Gemini. You may be taking a little pause right now while you readjust either your assets, or you sort of clear out your home in one way or another. And that's fine. Everybody should do that. Some people just collect things for years, but they don't use them anymore. And so that takes up a lot of space. So this is a time when you don't actually have to zoom into tomorrow, but I also don't think your future is uncertain. It's that you can be doing what you want to do right now, Gemini, and there will be something new on your future horizon. And you may be able to investigate that right now under the favorable influence of the full moon in Aquarius today. Now, the moon rules a residential real estate, and it rules our homes, and it rules moving. And you may want to move from where you live now and perhaps live in smaller quarters. You know, maybe you want to downsize a little bit. You could do that. But you know, Aquarius is the sign of invention and things ahead of their time. So you may also want to expand and open up your life to new things that are going on. And you could do it, Gemini. Or at least you could prepare for that. And I would, a word to the wise, Gemini, no matter how much you think you can relax for the rest of your life, I think at least in about 2 or 2.5 years, you're going to be far busier than you think, and you're going to be loving it. So try to plan for the future if you can while the full moon is trining your sun. That will pay off for you eventually, so I hope you do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is the time, Cancer, when there can be a number of challenges around, but there's also good things happening in a quiet way behind the scenes for you. And the reason why is that Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, remember Neptune rules Pisces and it rules dreams, are trining your sun. Now they are under severe duress right now because they're part of a real heavy-duty opposition from Mercury and Mars in Virgo. But that doesn't negate their intrinsic value. And what that value is to you, Cancer, is that you're still able to work on a precious dream of yours that you've had for a long time, so I'm not too sure that many people know about it. But you could work on that because it is destined for success. And even though there is an uncertain future, I think, in everybody's life right now, the fact that your precious dream is destined for success means you should be working on it. You know, no excuses. You should keep going on that. And the reason why is that the uncertainty in the future can be about the timing. It could be when the dream is destined for success. but not if it is. It is destined for success. It will happen. The question is when. And so if I were you, I would hurry up a little bit, Cancer, and get going. Because, good things take work, but they are very worthwhile. And as long as I think that is going to be coming your way, don't put it off, because your happiness awaits you. And you wouldn't have had that precious dream for so long if it wasn't real important to you. So don't neglect it, Cancer. This is the time, very quietly behind the scenes, get working on that. You'll be glad you did. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, for sure, there is an uncertain future on your horizon. It's right about now, Leo. And the reason why is that full moon in Aquarius today is opposing your sun. Exactly, and the sun rules your sign. That's good for you, because when a ruler is in the sign they rule, it makes the person under that sun sign very powerful and confident. Well, Leo's like that. So you could be deciding right now to take charge of something, Leo, or to be the leader of something, or be the boss about something. You'd like that. Leo's always like that. But at the same time, the future can be pretty uncertain right now for you, because not only is the full moon in Aquarius opposing your sun, exactly, and an opposition or a square of the lights is an indication of indecision or confusion. So you could be undergoing that at this time. And then Venus is retrograde, but it is almost exactly squared the sign it rules, Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus, which means, Leo, there can be a sudden fluctuation in the value of your investments, up or down, or it can simply be that you may find yourself you may find that money could be coming in, but it's going to go out just as quickly. That might be because you have your mind on something that's a little pricey and you just want to spend the money on that. Well, that would be fine as long as it's not your last dime, because the two planets in Taurus, Jupiter and Uranus, are squaring the Sun and Venus in your sign, and they are squaring the full moon in Aquarius, which makes even our financial future look a little uncertain, or else the money can be coming in but going out just as quickly. That can lead to uncertainty too. And so, Leo, there aren't any planets in the other fire signs. There's nothing supporting your sign. And there's plenty squaring it and opposing it. So, you can want to take charge of something because the sun is in your sign, so you can feel powerful. But at the same time, it's not going to be a clear shot on anything. There will be uncertainty. Now, this may not bother you if you are thinking of lining up a team that can help you for something, to do something new. That would be nice. If you're just looking for other team members to help you, you could use your energy in a positive way to affect a more certain future down the road. Okay, so that would be all right. But there is a dangerous opposition of 4 planets, and 2 of them are right ahead of your sun sign. And they would tend to affect health in one way or another, either people's physical health, emotional health, or mental health, and particularly the mental health. And that's because Mercury has left your sign. It's in Virgo now, and Mars is there as well, and they are opposing Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And that is setting up a very inconclusive result to something. So I would say, Leo, no matter what you want right now, and you could have the best intentions, but you're not going to get everything you want. Okay, so Leo, in that case, how about having a plan B? And maybe even a plan C. So just in case something doesn't work out, or is so uncertain that you don't know if or when it will work out, what could satisfy you in a smaller way but have a more immediate result? A plan B or a plan C? Well, maybe so. So think about that, Leo. You still want to get ahead, I'm sure, but you may be facing stiff enough challenges and a sort of uncertain future, or money that's moving a little quickly, up or down, or both, that you may want to just be quiet and think of smaller things that you can achieve instead. That might work out better for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. This is a time, Virgo, when you can be very energized. And that is because your ruler has just come into your sign. Mercury, the planet of the mind, is in your sign and rules it. And your sign rules analysis. And the degree of the full moon in Aquarius today was the 9th degree. And 9 is the number that rules your sign, Virgo. It's the highest of all the single digits, and it rules finishing things, which Virgos are very good at. And so even if your future is looking uncertain, and even if there's no real big winners right now because of conflicting ideas or opinions, I still think that, Virgo, you could take advantage of this wonderful grand trine in the earth signs and just try to achieve practical things. Okay, maybe your fondest dream is a little out of reach right now. But why don't you try to solve a lot of smaller problems that you may have, including things that are stressing you out mentally, that you worry about. Virgos naturally worry. They're born worriers. But it could be a whole lot worse for you now because Mars is in your sign. But Mercury is there as well. And, that's your own ruler. So if you get into a problem, Virgo, you may be able to think of a way out of it. And if it only involved accounting, which is what you're good at, or rearranging your investments, because that would be the planets in Taurus trining your sun, or even redoing your retirement plan in some way, maybe even borrowing a little bit from it if you needed to right now, you could do that as well. Do you see what I mean? You can handle the practical realities of life, but the things that you worry about, or the situations that are beyond your control right now, that you cannot influence with all your facts and details and what you think are sound arguments, you really cannot influence someone else who's either doubtful or evasive and doesn't want to have any part of that. So, that could make for an uncertain future, and that's why you need to concentrate on just practical problems that you can solve on your own right now, because that will make that grand trine work for you. At the same time that the planets that are in opposition in your sign and in Pisces are working against everybody, so that there are no winners. Sort of depends on what you go after right now, Virgo. And I would just stick to the tangibles and leave those untangibles alone. And try to get some rest. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. Well, Libra, just like Gemini, you're rather lucky today because that full moon in Aquarius is trining your sun, which is nice. It doesn't mean that there can't still be an uncertain future for you, Libra, but it can be that there's something new or someone new who's a little bit ahead of their time and is unusual in some way. And I would say they're gifted in one way or another. And they could be headed your way, Libra. And so, and Gemini's way as well. And in that sense, you could be getting a little taste of what is in your future, even if it hasn't quite landed on your doorstep yet. So if you meet somebody that's rather unusual but intriguing, you'll probably meet them again. They would be attracted to you, Libra. Or since your sign rules art, if there was some art or decorating project coming up that you could lend your expertise to, that would be nice. Libras love to be creative. And they can do it in any way because they're just naturally creative since their sign rules art and it rules decorating. And it rules peacemaking in one way or another. And so there is maybe an opportunity, Libra, for you to sort of shine right now, or meet other people, new people, that would turn out to have a very beneficial effect on your future down the road. And you got to meet them sometime, and this could be a time when you meet them, or when you are thinking of starting something new. And it would require your artistic talents, I think, or your negotiating skills in one way or another. Libra rules diplomacy and tact and compromise. And Libras are pretty good at getting different people who might want to argue with each other, but when the Libras are around, they sort of all just get the job done. Libras have a good effect on people because their sign is ruled by Venus. And so, Libra, if someone unusually gifted heads your way, don't be shy. Say hello. Find out what's on their mind and what they're doing and what they're thinking, because that could stimulate you in your future. And that would be good for you, Libra. And there's going to be a changing of the old guard anyway. And if you had been deciding that you were putting all of your efforts into one camp that had grown very powerful, I would look around for somewhere else to put your efforts to, Libra. Because the old guard, the power of the old guard is ending. And if you want to still keep going, it's going to require a fresh approach in one way or another. That's what Aquarius represents. And that's fine. It could come your way. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, yours is a fixed sign, and it's the only fixed sign that doesn't have a planet in it. So what does that mean? It means that the anguish of all 5 planets in the other fixed signs is getting dumped right into your sign, Scorpio. Ooh! And that means that the full moon in Aquarius today, which indicates an uncertain future because something has to finish up, and is going to finish up. So the full moon is squaring your sun, Scorpio, and the sun in Leo, along with Venus in Leo, are also squaring your sun, and Venus is retrograde. So there's some sort of question about leadership, control, or even money that is going to turn out to be, since yours is a financial sign, it's either going to cost you a little more than you really want to pay, or else if you are able to find something at your price or negotiate something at your price, it's not going to be what someone else wanted. It's a challenge to somebody. And then Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus are opposing your sun sign. And so the lights are squaring your sun sign, and Jupiter and Taurus are opposing your sun sign. So there is a financial matter, Scorpio, that you will have to come to some decision about. Or there could be that you are facing a lot of pressure from people. It could be the pressure of investments that are going up and down. That could be Uranus in Taurus. It could be the pressure of people that sort of want to tell you what to do and how to do it, and that wouldn't go over with you at all. And so there could be that tension. And then there is the pressure of some sort of uncertain future plan that has to do with a new invention or new things that are coming out. And so, yes, you can be challenged by all that, Scorpio, but Neptune and Saturn in Pisces are trining your sun. No matter what challenges you're facing right now, Scorpio, I think they're solvable by you. Because there isn't anything in your sign, but you do have backup. This Saturn and Neptune are backing you up. And that means if you continue to work on a precious dream that you've had for a very long time, it may be your way, sort of like your ticket to tomorrow. And that would be preferable to where you are today. And the reason why is that who wants to get stuck in conflict? And who wants to just keep grinding through the details of a tired old tale? Nobody wants that. And so if you keep working on a precious dream, that could be your ticket to tomorrow. And that is where your happiness would lie, because a precious dream is destined to come true. And so I wouldn't try to just, even if you feel you're really right about something, Scorpio, be a little quiet this week. And try not to raise, if somebody wants to fight with you, try to be a little too busy or have an excuse why you're just not going to do that. And don't fight with anybody. That will give you peace of mind, because I don't think you doubt your own judgment. So stick to it. But don't necessarily push it on anybody else right now, because all they're going to do is push back. And you know, who wants to live with that? So keep working on that precious dream, Scorpio. It's going to be worth it. Well worth it. And I think you know it. And that's why you've had it for so long. So avoid conflict and needless argument, because as I said, there's no winners this week, so don't argue. And just be somewhere else or be doing something else and be a little unavailable to anybody that wants to come at you, Scorpio. Not because you couldn't win an argument, but because when we get in arguments, they can be perpetuated by people who just want to envelop you and have you focus on them. And generally for selfish reasons. And that's why you should not engage. You should just stand back and say, oh gee, I don't want to talk to these people anyway. Forget it. And live your own life. And keep looking forward. Because that dream it's going to make you happier than you've ever been, Scorpio. So stick to it. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. This is a time, Sagittarius, since yours is a mutable sign. Ooh, that, you know, you could have good things happen to you because the Sun and Venus are in Leo, trining your Sun. That's good. You could meet a very engaging person, or you could go to something like a concert and have a lot of fun. That would be nice. But at the same time, there will be no winners in something that you are involved with, Sagittarius. At least not at this time. Because Mercury in Virgo, along with Mars, are squaring your Sun. And Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are also squaring your Sun. It's that people who are coming at each other from very different viewpoints, so they're never going to agree, are wanting to engage in controversy where there will be no winners. And if you step in between that, Sagittarian, you're going to get hit on both sides. Don't do that. Just really step back. This is a time when you need to watch the timing. And the timing is not good for you to get involved with people that are, you know, they've got their different opinions. Nobody is agreeing. They're actually fighting each other. Well, let them. But don't get involved, Sagittarius. I don't think anything's going to stop these people that have these very different viewpoints right now. They're not going to win anything, but they're not going to stop. And so you need to stay out of it. And one very good reason is that it could adversely affect your health, either your physical health or your mental health or your emotional health. So stay out of it. And it could even be about, excuse me, it could be about something sort of serious, and you still need to stay out of it. And that's because Sagittarians are rather high-minded people, and they can take a broad view and be very fair-minded, since it also rules international law. But nobody's listening, Sagittarius. Nobody's listening right now. So don't waste your breath. You could write something pretty conclusive, maybe present it later, but right now you step in the middle of this ongoing debate or fight about something, and you'll get crushed from both sides. Don't do it. Just step back. Mum's the word this week, Sagittarius. Be as quiet as you can. You know, have a dental appointment every day. Anything to get out of having to give an opinion about anything, because nobody's listening. And so protect your own peace of mind this week, Sagittarius. You'll be glad you did. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, remember I said of the 10 planets up there, there is only one that has no harsh aspects to it. And it happens to be Pluto in your sign, Capricorn. And that Pluto is backed up. After all, you have Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus trining your sun. And you have now Mercury and Mars in Virgo also trining your sun. And Uranus and Mars are malefic planets, but they're not hurting you. They're trining your sun. And so there's Pluto sitting in your sign at the 29th degree of fate, retrograde, meaning it's been there before. And now I think what it means is at the end of your sign is that the power of the old guard is ending. And it probably should have ended before. But it is ending now. And because of that, I think, Capricorn, in one way or another, you will benefit. Even if it's only psychologically. In other words, something may have always bothered you about the way people were handling their power, or who was in power. But the power of the old guard is ending. So it could be more than one person whose power is ending now. And it could, they're pretty high up in management, or they could even be the heads of countries. But the power is ending. And in some way, that is not only not going to hurt you, Capricorn, it probably will benefit you. So look around somewhere for some change in management. It doesn't mean it happens today. Remember, the title of the show is An Uncertain Future. Because the full moon in Aquarius, which is right ahead of your sun sign, is at 9 degrees, which is the highest of the single digits and indicates something is finishing. Now, that can be because something better is coming. And that's what I think it does mean, actually. But that's down the road. But still, I think something better is coming. And so somewhere in your life, Capricorn, something is ending. Maybe it should have ended before, but it can be ending now. Because the power, and it could be just the power of something that you were believing in, but that hasn't measured up, well, then that's over. And you'll be on to something new that will definitely benefit you. You're not being hurt by this at all. When the power of the old guard ends, fine. It's not going to hurt you. It may put you in a better place. And so it could increase your reputation, or increase your career opportunities, or it could increase your health, or it could increase your investments. Whatever it is, when the power of the old guard ends, you will benefit in one way or another. Or even if it is only that you are happy that it's happening because you didn't like it anyway. And so it could be a relief to you. So anyway, congratulations, Capricorn. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, the full moon is in your sign today, Aquarius. That's good because there's a lot of light on you. And that simply means, since there is nothing in the other air signs, there's nothing supporting this full moon today, and it is also being trapped by 5 planets in fixed signs, and yours is a fixed sign, and the moon is air. So there's 4 other planets, 2 in Leo that are opposing your sun, and then 2 in Taurus that are squaring your sun. And that simply means that you could be in a sort of an untenable situation where your future is uncertain right now. And the uncertainty can be because there is quite a difference from the status quo and new things that are coming. And that sort of means there's no winners at the moment, particularly when there's 4 planets in direct opposition to each other and they are so strong. Mercury rules the sign of Virgo and Mars is there, a malefic planet. Neptune rules the sign of Pisces and Saturn is there, another malefic planet, and they're going head to head. You might describe that as irreconcilable differences. That's really what's going on. No winners. And inconclusive results. So naturally, that's got to bring something new. And it's got to bring changing of the old guard. And so, Aquarius, your day is coming. It's in the future. It's not right now. And the reason why is you are facing a lot of challenges. And my advice to you, Aquarius, is just lay low. And the reason why is that there can be people that want to take out their frustrations on you. You know, the moon is very gentle and it's passive. It's not aggressive. I'm sure you're not wanting to get in a fight with anybody, Aquarius. But your sign has no backup. And that's why you need to lay low. And besides, you know, your world and just about everything in it is going to be changing very slowly for about the next couple of decades. And in 2 years, or 2.5 years, it's going to take off. Your life's going to take off, your career's going to take off, everything's going to take off for you in about 2.5 years when Uranus goes into Gemini and trines Pluto in your own sign. You will really be coming into your own power. And so that's why I'm saying lay low. Because there's too many opposing forces right now. That's what's making the future uncertain. Well, even if it's making your future uncertain, I would say bide your time, Aquarius. Better days are coming. The best is yet to come. It really is. And that's why I wouldn't make waves right now, Aquarius. It won't be worth it. Just lay low. You might be glad you did. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when you can just wonder, where do all these cranky people come from? And the reason why is that Mercury is in Virgo now, the sign of analysis and accounting and wanting to do everything right and small facts and details. And that Mercury in Virgo, which rules not only our physical health but our mental health and the whole healthcare field, is joining Mars in Virgo, and together they are opposing your sign where you have Neptune and Saturn as well. And so, Pisces, you know, there are people that want to, they want to change you, Pisces. They want you to be like them. They want you to be perfect. They want you to pay attention to the same things that they're the small details that they pay attention to. But the problem is that this opposition of these 4 very strong planets is an opposition. There isn't a way to have anything but irreconcilable differences. There's no way to bring that together. Somewhere in your life, Pisces, you know somebody who's just too far apart from you. And you could know more than that. You could know a lot of people that are like that. And I would say, you know, just remember that Pisces look at things differently than others. I mean, a Virgo can concentrate on something so well that they sort of can't see the forest for the tree that they're looking at. They can know everything about what's right in front of them and still miss the big picture. But on the other hand, because they're so concerned with the details, and they're good at that. We have to have people like that because they're good problem solvers. I'm not denigrating them in any way. But a Pisces rules, and so Virgo rules analysis, but Pisces rules synthesis. And Pisces is a healing water sign, and it rules things that are hidden behind the scenes. And so Pisces likes to sort of get the big picture. And they don't pay attention too much to the details. They could let somebody else do that, maybe a Virgo, but that isn't how they operate. And the good thing about the way that a Pisces looks at the world is that the very most detrimental things that could happen to a human being are something that a Pisces can face by dreaming of a better day or dreaming of things that are better. And that helps them rise above their troubles. And a very good example of that is the people that were in the concentration camps in World War II. And they were starved, and they were put into gas chambers, and many died. But the ones who survived, they survived with a bigger picture, a dream of something that helped them survive. They got over it. You know, man's inhumanity to man, somehow they survived. And a Pisces can do that by looking at something better, or looking at something beyond the trouble they face at the moment. Okay, irreconcilable differences is what's going on, Pisces. So, and there's no other planets in water signs. So if I were you, I'd just stay the way you are. Keep believing in your dreams. Keep knowing that tomorrow will be better. And it will be. And you don't have to answer to anybody else. You just have to be the best you can be, Pisces. And the rest will take care of itself. And the dream will survive. And so will you. So good luck. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can read the blog on my website, STARBORNinstitute.org, and it explains the theme of the show every week a little bit better. And then I'd love to have you subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel and tell your friends about it so that I can send you the show directly every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I'd love to do that. And until then, I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.